Welcome to Liquid channel. Today we will see the poem Digging by Seamus Heaney. Let's see the impression book by question answer. First one. Why does the poet says that his father, who is digging the flower bed, comes up 20 years away? The poet says that his father comes up 20 years away because he is suddenly transported back in the time to his own childhood. When his father was digging in the garden, the images of his father digging triggers of a powerful memory that bridges the gap of 20 years, and the poet is once again a child watching his father's work in the garden. The phrase 20 years away suggests a deep sense of nostalgia and longing, as if the poet is yearning for the pastime that was simpler, more innocent, and more connected to the natural world. By saying that his father comes up from the past, the poet is highlighting the way that memories can rise to the surface unbidden and transport us back to the different times and place. Heaney is exploring the ideas that our memories are deeply tied to our sense and that certain sights, sounds and smells can evoke powerful emotion and memories from our past. The images of his father's digging is a catalyst for this journey into the past, and the poet is celebrating the way that memory can connect us to our own history, our own family and the natural world. Next one. By God, the old man can handle the spade. Who is the poet talking about? What does this telling you about his feelings for the old man? The poet is talking about his father, whom he refers to as the old man. The phrase is a term of affections and respect, suggesting that the poet hold his fathers in high esteem. The statement by God, the old man could handle a spade, is an expression of admiration and awe, indicating that the poet has a deep appreciation for his father's skill and the use of the phrase by God adds emphasis and intensity to the statement, suggesting that the poet is deeply impressed and even reverent towards his father's abilities. This line tells us that the poet has a strong sense of respect and admiration for his father, and that he holds him in high regard. The poet and expertise as well as his connection to the natural world and the land. The tone is one of the reverence and nostalgia, suggesting that the poet looks back on his father's ability with a sense of wonder and gratitude. Heaney is exploring the idea that our relationship with our parents is complex and multifaceted, and that we often come to appreciate their skills and strength only in retrospect. The poet is honoring his father's memory and celebrating the way in which he was shaped by his father's example. The poet says of the grandfather then fell to right away. What kind of man was his grandfather? The phrase then fell to right way, suggesting that the poet's grandfather was a man of action who quickly and effortlessly got to work without hesitation or delay. The phrase fell to is an idiomatic expression that it means to start working or tackling a task with energy and dedication. This line implies that the grandfather was a hardworking and industrious person who was diligent and focused in his labor. He was likely a man of few words who let his actions speak louder than his words. The fact that he fell to right away suggests a sense of discipline, responsibility and commitment to his work. Then Heaney is portraying his grandfather as a strong and capable figure who was deeply connected to the land and the physical worker of farming. Ruggedness, resilience and determination, and implies that the grandfather was a man of great character and integrity. By celebrating his grandfather's work ethic and dedication, Heaney is honoring the value of hard work, discipline and responsibility that have been passed down through generations of his family. The poem is a man's reaction to a family tradition of doing a certain job. Do you agree? Give reason to support your answer. Yes, I agree that the poem Digging by Seamus Heaney is a man reaction to a family traditions of doing a certain job. The poem starts with the speaker's father digging in the garden, which suggests a family tradition of working with a land. Then the speaker reflects on his father's and grandfather's skills with a spade, indicating a legacy of physical labor that has been passed down through the generation. Then the speaker feels a sense of reverence and admiration for his father's and grandfather's ability, suggesting a deep respect for the family tradition. The poem explores the speaker's own relationship with this tradition as he considers his own role in carrying it forward. Final line, I will dig with it, suggesting the speaker's decision to continue the family tradition, albeit in the metaphorical sense, using his pen as a tool for a creative expression. Overall, the person is a meditations of the speaker's connection to his family's past and to his own place within it, that legacy. Heaney is exploring the idea that our relationship with our parents and grandparents shape our sense of identity and purpose, and that a family tradition can influence our choice and value in profound way. Next one, the poet's father and grandfather are similar men. In what way does the poet differ from them? What are his feelings about this difference? The poet differs from his father and grandfather in that he is a writer, not a physical laborer. While they worked with their hands digging in the earth, the poet worked with his mind digging into his thoughts and emotion to create poetry. The poet feels a sense of relevance and admiration for his father's and grandfather's physical strength and skill with a spade, but he also feels a sense of disconnections from their way of life. He is aware that he is not suited for physical labor and that his creative expression takes a different form. The poet's feelings about this difference are complex. On hand, he feels a sense of inadequacy and guilt for not following in their footsteps. He says, I have no spade to follow men like them. The lines suggest a sense of regret and longing for the connections to a physical world that he doesn't have. On the other hand, he is proud of his own creative expressions and the way he can dig into his own thoughts and emotion to create something new. He says, I will dig with it, referring to his pen, indicating a sense of determination and purpose. Overall, the poet is grappling with the idea that he is different from his ancestor, but that his own creative expression is still vivid way of connections with his heritage and exploring the worlds around him. Repetition is a literary device that uses a word or phrase more than once in a poem or story. Repetition is often used to create a sense of order in the work or to convey something specific. In Digging by Seamus Heaney, repetition is used to create a sense of rhyme, emphasis and connection to the poet heritage. Then the word digging is repeated throughout the poem, emphasizing the central theme of the poem and the poet's connection to his family past. The phrase is repeated, created a sense of purpose and reflections, highlighting the poet's contemplations of his own creative process. Between my finger and thumb, the phrase is repeated, emphasizing the intimate connections between the poet body and his creative tool. I will dig. The phrase I will dig is repeated first in the reference to his father's physical labor and then in reference to his own creative work, highlighting the connection between the two. Heaney uses repetition, create a sense of rhyme and musicality and emphasize key themes and idea. Connect the past and present, then highlights the connection between physical labor and creative work and show the poet's determinations and commitment to his craft. By repeating this phrase, Heaney creates a sense of order and structure in the poem, while also conveying the importance of his heritage, creativity and connection to the natural world. Can you spot the repetition in this poem? Why does the poet employ this device? Yes, I can. The repetition occurs in the following phrase: digging, the squid pen wrist, between my fingers and thumbs, I will dig. The poet employs this device for several reasons. Repetition emphasizes the importance of the words and ideas being repeated. In this case, it highlights the significance of digging the pen and the connections to his heritage. Repetition creates a sense of rhythm and musicality, making the poems more engaging and memorable. Then repetition ties the poem to words, creating a sense of unity and cohesion. Then by repeating the phrase digging, Heaney emphasized his connection to his family's past and the tradition of physical labor. Then the repetitions of digging also serves to contrast the physical labor of his father and grandfather with his own creative work, highlighting the difference between the spade and his pen. By employing repetitions, he creates a powerful and evocative poems that explores his relationship with his heritage, creativity and the natural world. Read the last line of the poem. What does the poet means by this? The last line of the poem reads, I will dig with it means the poet Seamus means that he will use his pen to dig into his own thoughts, emotions and experience and to create something new and meaningful. He is making a connection between the physical act of digging with his fathers and grandfather did and the in essence, Heaney is saying that he will continue to family traditions of digging, but in his own way, using his own tools and his own medium. He is acknowledging that his creative work is own way of digging into the world, exploring his own depth and uncovering new insights. The line suggests a sense of determination, purpose and commitments to his craft and serves as a powerful conclusion to the poem, tying together in the theme of heritage, creativity and the connection between the physical and the artistic form of digging. The entire poem can be read as a poet attempt to come to terms with his chosen profession. Do you agree? Give a reason for your opinion. Yes, I agree that the entire poem can be read as a poet attempts to come to terms with his chosen profession. Then the poem begins by reflecting on his father's and grandfather's physical labor, which sets the tone for the poet's own introspections about his chosen path. He contrasts the physical labor of his ancestor with his own creative work, highlighting the difference and the similarities between them. The poet seems to seeking valediction for his choice of profession, acknowledging the value of his ancestors' work while also asserting the importance of his own creative evidence endeavors. Through the poem, Heaney is exploring his own identity as a writer and how it relates to his family past and tradition. Then the final line, I will dig with it, suggests a sense of acceptance and commitment to his profession, indicating that the poet has come to terms with his role as a writer. Then the poem's themes of legacy and heritage are closely tied to the poet's own sense of purpose and identity, highlighting his desire to understand and reconcile his chosen professions with his family past. Then the poem, personal and introspective tone, suggests that Heaney is grappling with his own doubt and uncertainties about his profession, relatable explorations of self-discovery. Overall, the poem is a thoughtful and introspective exploration of the poet's relationship with his profession, heritage and identity, making it is a powerful and relatable work. Thank you viewers. Thanks for watching this video.